Looks like we're live. All right. Good evening, and thank you for joining us for the Monday, January 10th, 2022 meeting for the City Council of the City of Lamar. I'm Mayor Kirk Crespin. We do have a pretty busy meeting tonight in an executive session at the end. I apologize for the delay in the meeting tonight, but we did have a Lamar Urban Renewal Authority Board meeting right before, so it extended a little longer than we expected. But we do appreciate you joining us and hope that you can get some more information out of our meeting tonight. The person that was going to do the invocation was not here tonight. I don't believe Roy is here. So Manuel, I hate to ask again, but would you mind doing our invocation? Thank you.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we are so grateful to come together as a community, and we seek your wisdom as we make decisions in the city council. I just pray that you give us the wisdom and discernment for the decisions that are made tonight. Lord, I pray a blessing over our community, the city of Lamar, and the surrounding area. We're so thankful for this opportunity in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Mike, would you lead us in the pledge?
Well, sir. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the time is now 7:06 p.m. I'll call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Joe Gonzalez,
Here.
Mike Bellamy,
Here.
Jerry Jenkins,
Here.
Kurt Crespin,
Here.
Oscar Riley,
Here.
Daniel Tamez,
Here.
Emery Crampton,
Here.
Rob Evans,
Here.
Kristen McCurry,
Here.
Lance Clark.
Here. Okay, we've all had an opportunity to review the consent agenda. Were there any items that needed to be separated? I didn't see any.
Yeah, she'll write them on top if there is. I don't see it.
The consent agenda is presented.
A second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as submitted. Are there any final questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is public comment section. During this section, the portion of the meeting, anyone may speak on any subject that does not appear on the agenda. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each, and it would be at the discretion of the council. Is there anybody who would like to speak to the council tonight? Okay, if you'd like to come up, state your name and address for the record. And I will set my timer here for the 3 minutes.
I'm Michael Batterton. I live at 1903 South 10th Street, Lamar. I don't know if you guys have talked to any of the mayors on the marijuana issue, but this was published on October 5th, 2021. And it's from the mayor, Philip Rico from Trinidad. They have collected $15 million in taxes from the marijuana from 25 shops. The money has supported the police, fire, utility department, nonprofit, and allowed the city to build up 4.7 million savings. I'm going to give this to you, but I'm just going to read highlights of it. The city of nearly 9,000 credited to the marijuana. We are seeing more and more people move out of Denver or Texas because of the high cost of living. Dean Perez makes a minimum of $13 an hour working at Native Woods Recreation Marijuana Dispensary. Him and his wife have preschool as a preschool teacher. The couple makes $60,000 annually, which supports 5. Perez enjoys his work in what seems to be around a peaceful little town since the legalization of marijuana. There are a lot more job opportunities with dispensaries than we redid our streets. Our old buildings are being remodeled. It's very good. Trinidad feels that the New Mexico legalization will cut down on their sales. Well, I heard either had to be late part of last week. Kansas is putting it on their agenda. So we're going to lose that. Oklahoma has already recreational permitted marijuana, and stores haven't caught up yet. He noted that people who will buy the maximum they can at one store, then they go to another store, then they go to another store. Isn't that actually a conflict of interest? I know Colorado has passed a law that medical marijuana, you can only buy so much per day. And I think that went into effect 1st of January. It's not illegal to sell, but it's illegal to take across state borders. So all this money that we're going to get from Oklahoma and Kansas and Texas, it's illegal. If they get caught. Along with marijuana comes heroin, methamphetamines, and other drugs. He would like the economy that did not enroll in the coal, natural gas, marijuana, and hopes to see that happen in Colorado newest state park. I missed the page.
That was your 3 minutes, but
Can I finish this?
go ahead and finish up quickly and
They have received, in 2019, they received over 19,000 police calls, or about 40 a day. Are we really wanting this to come to Lamar? I'll just give it to you.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who would like to speak to the council on an item that's not on the agenda? Yes, if you could come up and just state your name and where you live.
My name is Donna Jerome. I live at 33427 County Road 7 here in Lamar. I think if this is done right, I think that it would be a good thing for Lamar. I am not against it. I'm not for it. But since it's passed, I believe we have to go forward. If we put a moratorium on it, cap it at 2, would be probably good for this. We have 2 highways coming through Lamar. You don't want a whole bunch, you don't want 20 pot shops here because you will, just like Twyla said, you will have them buying an ounce at each shop. That is not good. It is illegal. And we can't do anything about that because they have a right to go in and buy an ounce. But with the money that you raise, it could do a lot of good things for Lamar, Colorado. I have lived in Springs for the last 32 years, and it is a nightmare. I grew up here in Lamar, Colorado, lived there for 32 years and moved back, not because of the pot, but because of other personal things that are going on. But I think if we look into this and find out exactly what we need to do, and I think it could be a good thing for Lamar. I'm sure I could come up with other stuff, but that would probably for another meeting. Wasn't quite prepared for tonight, but
okay.
I don't partake in that, but I think there's could be some good things that could come out of it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Is there anybody else who would like to speak to the council on any item that's not on the agenda? All right. Seeing none, we will move forward with the rest of the agenda. Next item on the agenda is the city treasurer's report. Kristen?
I have no report for this evening. Thank you.
Okay. And then we have the city clerk's report. Misty is filling in for Linda. Did she give you any information on it?
She did. So the November sales and use tax collected in December was $370,730.01, which was up 17.51% or $55,244.53 from 2020. The year-to-date collections were $4,729,064 and 9 cents, which is up 15.99% or $652,102.30 from 2020. That's all we.
Okay, that was a great sales tax revenue report for the end of the year. We did end in a very positive light with the 15.99% increase from the previous year. So that's a very good growth for our community, and hopefully we can continue that through 2022. The next item is the city administrator's report.
All right. First, we'd like to, I guess, the swearing of the new officer.
Okay. Do I do that? Do you-
Yes, sir. Could you
Okay.
please?
Is that me? Did you bring me a sheet leaf there?
No, you don't have memorized yet?
No, I don't have it memorized yet. All right. Please raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, Kristen Polk,
I, Kristen Polk,
do solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America
do solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America
and the state of Colorado.
and the state of Colorado.
I will faithfully and impartially enforce
I will faithfully and impartially enforce
the laws of the state of Colorado and the ordinances of the city of Lamar.
the laws of the state of Colorado and the state of Colorado.
And do further swear to discharge
And do further swear to discharge
the duties of a police officer for the city of Lamar,
the duties of the police officer for the city of Lamar,
best of my skill and ability.
to the best of my skill and ability.
So,
So,
congratulations and welcome to the force.
All right.
Did you have somebody here to pin you today? Oh, yeah.
All right, next, coffee with Rob. I'd mentioned that I would start buying locals, the coffee for anybody who want to show up and talk, discuss, breeze, anything you would like, just come up and I'd like to meet the citizens, and anything you'd like to talk about, I'm willing to talk about, and I will pay for coffee, not breakfast. So we'll start out at Hickory House and McDonald's and Dunkin' Donuts, and I'll do it every Wednesday that we don't have a council breakfast or dinner. But and I'll rotate it through the city as we go on. If we have a favorite place or best results place, we'll probably start gravitating towards that. But anyway, 7 o'clock. I'll be there at 7. If you want to show up, I'll stay till 8, and then just give me a holler. I want to meet everybody that wants to come up. Okay. The chamber banquet, January 28th, 6 p.m. at the Eagles Lodge. I guess they do that every year. I don't know what number that is this year, but
100 years.
this is the 100th
This
one.
is 100.
Well, the CML 100th conference is coming up too, so that's
right.
pretty good coincidence. June 21st to 24th, and that usually, if you don't start getting, if you want to go, make sure you get your reservations in really quick because they get booked up fast. And I don't have anything else on miscellaneous, but if you guys have any questions or anything you'd like to bring up,
Does anybody have any questions for the city administrator? Guess not.
Thank you.
Off the hook. Okay, the next item is reports and correspondence from the council. Do we have any liaison reports tonight?
I don't have anything. Nothing here.
Oscar?
Waiting COVID, so I have nothing.
Okay. Anybody else? I did, I'll do mine real quick. I did have a meeting, my monthly meeting with Karen Bryant at PMC, the CEO of Prowess Medical. Karen and I have been meeting monthly over the last probably 6 months and just touching base as far as the different things that are happening within the city and sharing that along with her and getting information about what's happening at Prowess Medical Center. Of course, they've had the struggles over the last couple of months, but they're staying diligent, working on getting new providers in and bringing back their new resources back into the hospital as well. They've made a lot of significant improvements over the last few months. And one of them that's coming up towards the end of this month or the beginning of next month will be the ribbon cutting for their new MRI suite. So this was a multi-million-dollar project that was a huge investment for not just Lamar, but all of Southeast Colorado that will be helpful for us, not just for now, but far into the future. So we're looking forward to that. And I've been trying to work with her on improving communication between her and the city or the hospital and the city and the cooperative efforts. I know we've had a few different discussions about doing events together, the possibility of doing events together during the summer. One of the discussions we had was the possibility of maybe working with the council during one of our summer evening events and doing it in unison with them. So we'll just kind of work on that over the next few months and I'll bring that back to the council and get some feedback from you. But overall, the hospital is very strong. They're doing well. And she's excited about the changes that are coming up in the next few months that should help benefit the community. So aside from that, the only other thing that I have is over the past 6 months as well, I've been trying to do a little bit more outreach with different communities in Southeast Colorado. And I've had the opportunity to meet with Scott Peterson, the new mayor for the city of Los Animas. And we've talked on various times, and it's been good to have that rapport with Los Animas. They have a lot of great projects happening. They're looking at doing a downtown development or rehabilitation so they can improve downtown with their new Carson Square proposal. And their whole idea is to beautify downtown, similar to what we've done here in Lamar with our Main Street, and try to make it more attractive and try to pull people off of Highway 50 to stop and see what Los Animas has to offer. In the same turn, one of the other things that I had in November when I was reelected in La Junta, they also had a contested election, and the incumbent did lose, and there was a brand new mayor that came in, Joe Ayala. He is a younger gentleman that is very excited, has a lot of good energy and a lot of great ideas. And I did reach out to him, and we've had a couple of emails back and forth. On Wednesday afternoon, Rob and I will be hosting Mayor Ayala from La Junta, as well as Rick Klein, the city administrator of La Junta. They're going to be visiting us here in Lamar. We're going to have a lunch. We're going to take them a tour a little bit for Lamar, show them what we're working on, going to get some discussions about what they're working on as well, and just open that door of communication. So we're hoping that that helps to bridge some pathways for us to work together in the future and help grow Southeast Colorado in whole. So I'm very excited about that. I think it's a great opportunity for us, and we'll keep working on that. So I'll be reaching out to the other mayors in the area as well, Wiley, Hawley, Grenada, and we'll see if we can get some involvement with them as well. Okay, with nothing else on the reports and correspondence, we will move on with the rest of the meeting. Next item is the Prowess Youth Council presentation. If the council will remember, last year we had the Prowess Youth Council come in and they discussed the fees and the expenses that they had doing their projects at the community building and within the city facilities. And they had asked us to see if we would waive that, and we did, of course, do that and passed it. But at that time, we asked them to come back in once a year to renew that request and ask again. So we do have representatives here from the Broward Youth Council. I'll turn it over to, but Matt Bizak with Broward Youth Council is here with a couple of students. And they wanted to tell us a little bit about what they've done, where they're going this year, and also check on getting a renewal of that. Matt?
Thank you, council, for having us. I really appreciate it. And we have a great year at the city of Lamar. With that, I will pass it over to our youth students, our youth council to do some.
Great. Please state your name.
Hello, I'm Abigail Ross. We're both seniors at Lamar High School and members of the Prowess County Youth Council. It's great to speak with all of you again after speaking with you this past summer about the Youth Council. And I will give you a brief reminder of what the Youth Council is and an overview of what we have accomplished this past year. The Prowess County Youth Council is a council for K-12 students in Prowess County, including Lamar, Grenada, Hawley, and Hiley. At the council, we focus on addressing issues and doing projects most important to us, the youth in our community. One of our major focuses is community involvement and bringing the community together. This year, we organized numerous events such as multiple outdoor movies in Willow Creek Park, Walk the Walk on the Lamar Loop, art nights, a community petting zoo at Willow Creek Park, and a free holiday family photo session at the Lamar Community Building, amongst other events. In addition to the Little Library in Willow Creek Park, we have also installed another little library at the Pocket Park in downtown Lamar, as well as a little library in Grenada. Since the first library was installed, we've distributed an estimated 3,200 books. We will continue to organize similar events to the one that mentioned before, as well as new events and projects this year. A portion of these events and projects in the previous year have been hosted at city property and youth city resources, and we hope to host future events there as well. This is made possible, as you mentioned, by the waiving of fees to use city property and resources. And for the past year, we are wondering if you could continue this into the new year. Overall, the Youth Council is a great opportunity for the youth to get involved and make a difference in their community, and we really appreciate your support.
Okay. Did you have anything to add or just their moral support? Thank you. Did the council have any questions?
Have you had any consideration of using the Gateway Park for any events?
Well, of course, different events, and we'll talk to different members in our youth council and wherever they want to host it, and we'll definitely bring it up to them. I think that'll be a great place.
I thought you did do one last summer, didn't you?
We did a cleanup day out at Gateway Park, and we did it as well.
And I think we've talked about possibly doing a day there in the summer with like the community and the different things they have there. So we're looking at that for the summer.
This is a whole Broward County Youth Council. Okay.
How many are currently active with you guys right now?
Our last meeting, we had 14. Countywide, we had anywhere from 80 on a low day to about 100.
What we waive the city fees.
Second that.
Okay. So we'll continue waiving the fees as we did last year. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Are there any final questions? Seeing none, do we have a question for that or no? I think so. Okay, all those in favor, you don't need to use your buttons tonight for this one. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of.
Okay, thank you for attending tonight and thank you for giving us an update.
Thank you.
Okay, agenda item number 2 is award bid number 41-019, aggregate materials and snow removal. This was brought in by Patrick Mason. Pat?
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
On December 22nd, we opened bids, for purchase of asphalt, concrete, and road-based materials. It's something we do annually every year in the bid. Last we did January 1st of this year, that's December 31st. We had 2 bidders this go around. It's a selective bid process, so I mean, you can pick and choose what lines you think bid. You don't have to actually bid the product we're asking you for. So granite, sand, and gravel, which is formerly Prowess Aggregate, is one of the bidders, and All Right Paving Ready. So what it basically came down to is All Right Paving Ready Mix did the asphalt, concrete, and flow fill. And they also made a note on their bid that they received the ask for the concrete and the flow fill. They would lower the price on the asphalt. Well, back down. So if awarded that way, we should have been bidders on those products. The asphalt price was brought back. And then granite, sand, and gravel more or less got gravel and rock and products.
Okay.
Staff would recommend that we board. All Right, ready, mix, David, bid on it. Granite, sand, and gravel.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to award low bid as recommended by staff. Are there any final questions?
If you want something that's not on the bid sheet, you pay whatever the going price is.
So I'm going to use, for example, this number. Usually we ask for a bid for like per hour, load or comparable to one that we put on there. When we don't get any bids for that, let's say we get a blizzard, it doesn't matter. We call it around, get prices that way. Great contractors. In past blizzards, we resorted to renting equipment from Wagner or CAD or whoever.
Just curious, just curious.
Okay, any other final questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Joe?
Unanimous in favor of.
Thank you.
All right. Next item on the agenda, number 3. Pat, you might as well stay up. You're on the next one, aren't you? So the next item, number 3, is consideration for the relocation of city sewer line located under the Cobblestone Hotel and Suites property. This was submitted or initiated by Rob Evans and Pat Mason. So would you like to speak on this?
Well, we had some discussions back and forth with Cobblestone, and previously, before I got here, there was a incentives agreement with the Cobblestone development, and they decided that they did not want the current location of where the sewer was underneath the property. And we had said, well, we had thought it was okay. We decided how much it would cost for us to fix it in place and not have to move it. They still did not want it there. So we said that it would be up to them to decide. They would have to pay for the extra cost. It would move it. And that's what we're talking about at this point.
So when we set the incentive agreement, we didn't know where they were going to locate the actual hotel at on the property, front, back, middle. And the location that they are putting it after we saw that the engineering designs was pretty much in the center of it. And right under it is a sewer line, sewer main that would need to have something done with it to firm it up. And as we started working on that, Pat, you had looked at the option of lining it, doing the resin lining. And the developer decided they didn't really want to do that or didn't trust that long-term for a longer term. So they wanted to actually move it.
That's correct.
So that's what we're looking at is.
Yeah, we had originally actually got a price to move it ourselves. And that price came back and it was a little higher than we wanted, more than we wanted to spend, so to speak. So we went back to our engineers, JVA, and they basically recommended we line it. If we lined it, it would basically be structurally probably better than actual pipe. And they felt like lining it was cheaper and it could actually be built over and have their penalty structure on top of it. The Cobblestone engineers didn't like the idea of it being, even if it was lined, being under there. So they asked the option, what if they moved it, if we would be willing to give them up to $25,000, which is what our engineers estimated that it would cost to line the pipe. And they would more or less shoulder the rest of it.
We basically would have paid $25,000 regardless, because we needed to fix and upgrade this pipe. So we would have paid $25,000. And since they're going to move it, we would say, hey, look, this might be a way to help them out. give them 25,000 so they can get this thing moved where they want to. It's not going to hurt our, flow or any type of volume or capacity or anything like that. And it ends up being another incentive to them, to help them instead of them paying for it all themselves. So we were going to pay 25 anyway. Might as well give it to them so they can move it.
Or you put it street?
Actually, it wouldn't be in the street. We'd have to, they've agreed to give us a new right of way for that. So we're gonna basically go on Cobblestone's property towards Main Street. And come down the current right of way down the side of the street. And connect on the Sword Street.
I mean, you go like through a parking lot for them or something.
Now,
Not into the building at all.
it wouldn't be into the building at all. And it
That's what I
actually
want to know.
Yep.
Yeah.
all buildings out there.
What happens after we move the sewer? I know there's times that when you go messing with things, even there may develop another problem. So let's say 5 years down the road, the sewer's been moved and it collapses or something catastrophic happens. Then we're going to pick up the entire bill on this.
Well, if it's under our location, if it's not under their property, yes, we'd be responsible for it. But it could collapse at any point right now too. So there's no way to know if it was moving, it was what caused it.
Any portion that we built out of what we call C9. I don't see that collapsing.
But
you never know.
answer your question, yes, it would be us picking up the tab if it was.
It would be
And our
now.
building inspector is going to
It is not
oversee
now.
the entire process, because I know they're talking about having a contractor here in Lamar do the work, all of it.
Correct. So actually, we have staff that would oversee the construction of it since it will be our line when it's finished. And also Greg would be involved on the inspection.
And we're going to oversee it at all times.
All times.
Or anything's buried, got.
And there's no anticipation that this is going to cause any kind of disruption.
It shouldn't cause any disruption at all. Our engineers actually designed that project. Have a written plan, so to speak, an actual set of construction drawings. So the work to be done by their contractor was actually done by our engineer. So we'll inspect it and give it done in accordance with what our engineer said. And they're on board with that.
So was this incentive in a contract of some kind, or was this a verbal incentive?
Well, this
Contract.
it was in contract. The incentives were all in a contract. The verbal agreement happened after when they didn't want where the sewer location.
So this part of the sewer issue and the dollars are in the contract, correct?
No, the 25,000 is what we were going to spend on our own if we left it in place.
So and this was a confusing part for them as well. In the incentive agreement, like we would with any other new development, we did have some dollars in there for tap fees and some of the sewer taps and sewer lines that would go to the building. So there was, and it was approximately $20,000, $25,000. That was actually in the incentive agreement. But this is different from those tap fees. This is actually the construction of the line itself, moving up the line. So that part was not in the incentive agreement at all. So we would have to amend it and add that in if that was the case.
If we were going to give it, so what we're asking right now is to allow us to give them $25,000 to this company so they can move forward. Yeah.
So we're looking at doing an amendment to our incentive agreement to add this additional part. So
Is there any other unforeseen? I know
Well,
it's hard
I've
to-
made
I
it
mean,
very
is there gonna
clear.
be more incentives? Because I know you know where I'm going with this.
Yes.
Okay.
I've made very clear that they are responsible for anything remaining. And if it costs more to finish this project for this moving of it, it's all up to them. 25 is our maximum that we're going to put into it. And because that's the most we were going to pay for ourselves to line it. So you're not going to get anything else.
And they're good with this?
Yep.
Okay. I just want to make sure we don't make
No.
somebody mad and they say, okay, we're
No.
injecting the blood
No.
here.
So to go back to the funding for it though, would just come out of the line item for the projects.
In your water and sewer, we put that money in there specifically
For
for project development. Yes.
I think you want an agreement on this at some extent. I mean, whether it's amending the original incentive agreement, I don't love, or just having a short agreement to this specific issue. And even if we, use the incentive agreement as an exhibit to that, or something to that extent. I think
And that
you want
was my thought, is an addendum to that.
Yeah, you want something in writing here, just
Oh, yeah.
make clear
Before
where
we hand
that,
the check.
where our obligations end and where their obligations continue.
Okay.
We can do that.
But I don't think it has to be real lengthy. I think you can be pretty specific on exactly this piece and why it's being done.
One more question. I'm all about the dollar. Can you please repeat about the funding? This 25,000 is already in Mr. Mason's budget?
We budgeted a new line item in water and sewer.
Okay.
And we called it project development. So as projects come up that we don't know about, we'd have money set aside and we could track it separately from their regular operating and things like that. So there is a special line in his budget for 22 that says it's called project development. There's $100,000 in
Yeah,
it.
we don't have to give up any operating thing to make this
Right.
happen.
It's already in there. We did that with this intent that as these projects come up, that we could track that separately and they could have it separate from their operating. So it didn't take away from the dollars that they need to operate regularly.
Yeah,
So-
we were
So-
anticipating some extra developments this year, so.
And
So I guess the question for Mr. Mason is then, have you in your mind or jotted down on a little notepad somewhere, other things that you wanted to do with this 100,000 or
I don't,
100,000.
whatever the amount was?
it was 100,000.
Well, we have multiple projects that are coming up.
Okay.
That we've been working on for a year or two, and those are the ones that are expected.
Okay, so this is like a city council's fund then that they have.
Well, it's the city's fund.
Yeah,
but
as we
it's-
make agreements with new businesses
Right.
or.
You guys
Okay.
have to approve for us to spend it, basically.
Okay,
We
right.
need your approval, yes.
I'm clear.
So we're expecting another one with the blue building, for instance. If that comes to fruition, then we'll have another development there and they'll have some cost with it that will be, we may need to work on, so. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
To clarify, so this $100,000 is set aside in the city budget or it's set aside in the contract budget?
It's set aside in the water and sewer fund itself in the 22 budget.
So it's allotted to any sort of water sewer project?
That's
Access.
correct.
Okay.
In special projects that aren't typical or normal or reoccurring,
Okay, thank you.
for us to be allowed to offer these incentives to businesses to help them move in and get settled. So
So I guess Mr. Bellamy was having me explain that it's for any cost excessive.
No,
no,
it's for any unexpected projects, developments, anything that we would have new that's not a normal working process. So he has a standard operating budget. This is just in case we have a new business come in and says we need help.
Got it.
We can use those funds set
Thank
aside
you.
for that. Mhm. Okay, so what is the council's pleasure?
What happened to you?
One of my main fears was the line's fine the way it is. When you start excavating up to 4 feet of material and compacting and all the vibration, it could potentially collapse that size. That was why we were looking at either we move it or we line it. So I was thinking that have to definitely line it at the very least to, withstand the construction. So that's kind of why we were leaning towards the line.
61 active for the edge.
Right. I mean,
I think a motion to give it 25,000.
With the amendment?
With the
You
amendment?
still need to prepare that. How quick are they wanting that done? 'Cause ideally, I think it's bring it back with the agreement and then have council vote on the agreement.
Yeah. So I guess just make a motion to have us,
Or just give me direction to create an agreement and then if you table the issue, we can vote on it at the next council meeting and I'll have an agreement for you.
So we can approve to have you work up the agreement and bring it back for approval of the
I think
agreement.
I just need direction on that. Yeah.
Okay, that's my motion.
And table the issue till next meeting.
To have Lance work up the name.
So do we need to vote on it or just table it?
I think table it. I think you're.
And just come up with a new item. Right. Okay, just table it. We'll have it ready for you guys to agree and allow to sign for.
So I just have one more thing. So I just want to say so that the public is aware that in your suggestion, something needs to be done with this sewer line, whether it's lined or moved before construction or while the construction is going on, because it could possibly violate that sewer line, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, I'm all in then.
We would
Okay.
have to do it either way. It's ours.
And it could
Okay.
potentially cause them more expensive process if
Oh, yeah.
they build.
If it collapses while they're working on it, then
Or if they build it and
Yeah.
then it collapses, then we're gonna be tearing out a whole
Digging.
walkway.
underneath.
Yeah, so
Do we need a motion to table agenda item number 3?
until he brings that back. Okay, so that's the change of motion. Are you okay with that, Oscar?
Yeah.
Who was the second? So the motion was to table it and have Lance bring back actual.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Any final questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of.
Thank you, Pat.
Pat, you're on this next one too.
No, it's not.
Okay. Agenda item number 4 is City Affordable Care Act Reporting Engagement Letter from Clifton Larson Allen LLP. This was initiated by our city treasurer, Kristen McCray. Kristen?
Yes, so every year, in 2016, the Affordable Act reporting required by the IRS Code Section 6056 and 6055 requires that we report to the IRS all of the health insurance information for the city of Lamar. And in that, they required that a third party do the actual reporting directly to the IRS. We, as a city, prepare the 1095s, is what they are called, and 1096s, and get them to the employees. But a third party is required to report to the IRS. So we, since 2016, we have contracted with this company who is also associated with our software. So they work hand in hand with our payroll software. So every year we sign an engagement letter with them so that they can report our 1095 and 1096 information to the IRS as required by law. So I'm just asking that I'd like to amend my recommendation. I'd like for the mayor to sign the agreement and I will file it electronically. And I have in there that the treasurer will sign the agreement, but I would rather the mayor sign the agreement. So I'm asking that you approve the engagement letter with Clifton Larson and allow the mayor to sign so that we can do our 1095s.
So moved. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Are there any final questions?
Is the cost the same as last year?
It is.
Any other final questions?
And all they're doing is filing.
Yes, they have to do
all
the,
work.
yes, and then they transmit it to the IRS in their format. So,
For $300. So. Okay.
Okay, with no other questions, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of.
Okay. Next item on the agenda, Saving Places Scholarship Application. This was initiated by Morgan Alba. I don't know if she's still on or not, or if
I
Rob.
am.
would you-
Hey, sorry. Okay, so this is our annual Saving Places conference. Our historical board is required to attend. Last year I went, and right now we have our CLG status. which is the Colorado local government. We're recognized as being a historical board. We meet a few requirements by the state. And this year, since our board was so kind of inactive last year, it is required that another one of our board members also attend the Saving Places Conference. So this is just a scholarship for me and a board member to attend as well. So I guess I just need, my recommendation would be for council to approve it. And I think Rob would be sufficient in signing it and getting it sent off to apply for the scholarship to go.
Board member that's going to accompany you, yeah.
I don't know which board member. I've sent it to them and nobody has volunteered yet. So I'm hoping I can convince one of them to go. Our board is kind of struggling a little bit as far as the historical board goes. So if anybody knows anybody interested in joining, please send them my way.
All right, any questions for Morgan?
The city pays for this?
Sir.
Yes, we would pay for it and they would reimburse us with the scholarship
Oh, okay.
through her Main Street program.
Okay.
Move we approve the scholarship application as submitted.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the scholarship application. Are there any final questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of.
All right. Next item is this is a favorite time of the year where we review our liaison positions for the council. And since we have a new council member here, we would need to review the liaison positions. So the city council, the city has multiple boards, whether it be the Housing Authority Board, Parks and Recreation, the Airport Board, but all these boards require a liaison from the city council. So once a year, we look at the different appointments and the council has an opportunity to review which boards they're on, representing the council as. And at the next meeting, if you could please review this attached board appointments and liaison appointments for the ones that you currently have. If there is one that you would prefer to have, you can contact the other council member, negotiate with them, see if they would like to trade. We'll do some of the trading before the next meeting. And at the next meeting, we will finalize the new appointments for 2022. Are there any questions from the council on that?
Mayor, can I say something real quick? I don't know if there's one board that's not quite active yet, but we need to get started as quickly as possible. And I know that it was the security or safety board or something like that.
Yeah.
Safety.
And
Public safety.
we need 5. We've got 3 applications. I would be number 4. We need 1 more. And I know that I think Mr. Bellamy had said he had somebody that was either interested. And
Now,
I
I
would,
had the police and the fire department, but that was
I have the fire.
you have the fire department, I had the police department. So would you want to be on the public safety or?
okay, then we got 5. So we'll start that up at the next meeting. I'll so we can start I guess we'll have to work on our bylaws and things like that, but we don't have a board started yet because we only had 3 applications.
Okay. All right. Are there any other questions or on that before we move on? So if there is something you want or are interested in, contact the member that's on that board and you can negotiate those and see. Anything that has member Rodriguez would be your default, Mike. So like the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, that would be what you would be on to replace Ralphie, unless you want to trade that with somebody else. So if you want to review those, he had Community Resource Center as well as
Yeah.
which one? LPI board. Yep. So we can review those and bring those back at the next meeting. We good? Okay, moving on to the next item. Designation of places for posting notices of meetings for the Lamar City Council. Yes.
This is a Colorado requirement for open meetings. So you have to do this one.
Okay.
I mean, designate, I guess there's a list here of all of the places that we would post at these locations. We would post.
I saw that we have the City of Lamar website and quite a few of the other items. I know she posts on the Facebook page as well. Should we add that?
I guess
City
but
Facebook?
yeah.
Would that, is that possible, Lance?
Yeah, it's, I mean, by
don't-
doing so, you're now saying that you're gonna do that every time.
Yeah, that's, you can do it, but once you put it down as these are places we will do it,
Then it must be.
it must be done.
Okay, well, I mean, I know she does it on more of a social type
Yeah.
rather than, or informative type rather than a public notice. So probably not. We can leave that off.
Thank you.
Okay, that would be easier. Okay, any others that we need to change or modify?
No, sir.
Okay, seeing none, do we have a motion to approve the designations?
So
Okay. Have a motion and a second to approve the designated places. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
yeah, I was in favor of.
Okay, now we do have an executive session coming up next. That is, but we do have a miscellaneous items before we go into executive session. There will not be a decision coming out of executive session. This is more for information only and receiving advice. So if there are any miscellaneous items, we can receive those now or discuss those now. Does anybody have anything? Okay. I didn't know if we had any questions on Facebook. We generally would ask Martha, but man, well, I think we're good there. All right. Well, with that in mind, is there, do we want to move into executive session?
Second.
So we have a motion and a second to move into the executive session for the purpose of receiving legal advice from the city attorney under CRS section 24-6402, parentheses 4, parentheses B. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Oh, I guess it's a little late. Somebody's just asked, how do we get on the agenda? And if they have a concern that they would like to get on the agenda so there can be a decision made.
Just tell them to call your office.
Yeah, just to contact me and I'll help them get on the agenda.
Okay, or I can have,
Or,
we can reach out to them.
right.
Yep, okay. All right, so we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye, please vote.
Aye.
Nobody voted.
Personal, so.
No, I didn't know what the office was. Unanimous in favor of.
Okay, thank you for attending. Like I said, there will not be any decisions coming out of executive. So we will see you the next meeting. Thank you for attending.